March 23rd, 2012. This is our garden as it is right now. Still some things to work out, still some things to do, but too much of it growing to ignore that it needs some form of documentation. This is my original aloe, getting bigger, turning somewhat funny color, but it does that whenever it comes out. Newly potted. The jade. In the back are some onions growing. That's the bay and some chives. Okay, I didn't say it was all pretty. Our our lavender has moved this year to give more room for tomato plants. That's the our original rose bush. Interesting that that little flower sticking out is part of this plant. I can tell you what it is, but I can't pronounce it. But if you look closely, the leaves are different. So I'm guessing these are hybrid, and this volunteered. Underneath is our peekaboo girl teddy bear. Next to her is a sleeping gnome. Our original devil's trumpet died, but had a couple babies. One has survived. Looks like it will live. Watch out for the bears. Our basil then, as you can tell, we have quite a few bears to watch out for. This is the original baby from the aloe. An original baby from the jade, and a couple of aloes through the years. This one right here is the newest from this year. Don't know if it's going to live or not, but of course you'll live. This is our coneflower, or coneflowers starting up this year. They're beautiful when they come out. Okay, I'll give it a try. I think it's called Triticchia, but I really don't know. I've never actually heard it pronounced. Excuse the mess. Our toy chest / storage unit died over the winter. We had to remove it and buy something new. To be seen later. Last year's bunching onions. Later in the year bunching onions. And you can look carefully. There's some new ones growing in between. I know, this looks like a bunch of empty trays or containers, but it's not really. This empty one back here, next year we'll have some daisies and columbine. Apparently the seeds take a year to develop. This is more bunching onions, and if you look closely, some new seedlings growing in among the weeds. Yes, we do weed. This will be bunching onions later on, but hasn't gotten there yet. This is a Russian sage. It looks like it's dying, but new growth comes from old branches. So it's really taken a while for it to branch out. This is my fescue grass, the only grass I have intentionally in the yard. And that little patch in the back, looking a little bit yellow, is one I grew from seed. The front one is more bought like that. Been a few years since we've had that. This is our Wilby, our purple daisies. Also has some sort of really fancy name, but they look like purple daisies. They won't be coming out for another month. Our welcome sign's already up. Just got that up the other day. A container, I will have to put something in it. Probably some flowers that sort of take over like weeds, but haven't gotten that far yet. is our original gnome, the welcome gnome. And yes, I know that watering can looks a little beat, but I like it that way. This used to be our tomato container. Got new soil in it this year, and this year we're going to try and grow some beans in it. Just planted the beans a couple days ago, and so they're not supposed to come out yet, and they're doing exactly what they're not supposed to do. Also can't pronounce the name of this flower. However, it will be red and fade to a pinkish mauve color when it comes out. These are our peppers growing in our garden box. Went with just red and yellow this year. Red, yellow, you say green, but if you wait long enough the green ones turn red also. We went with standard sweet bells because last year we got some that we thought were supposed to be sweet and they were too hot. Yes, we have traditional mouths. Maybe I do. He's more willing to go for the traditional, for the spicy than I am, but even he thought they were too hot. This is our hens and chicks. That's me taking out some fertilizer that's not supposed to be in there. Have to get that later. Two varieties. The one sticking up are the oldest. They're probably dying this year. You can tell from what this looks like down here. This is our sweet potato vine. It made it through the summer, the winter, by putting it downstairs. These are our tomatoes. The back one is going to be a Cherokee purple, and looky here, the first tomato on it came that way. We might actually have our 4th of July tomato. This one, can't remember the variety, but it's locally grown. That's our chocolate mint. And going up from there, that's our clematis and our rose. Rose isn't flowering right now, but it has flowered. And the clematis I cut back 2 months ago, and look how far off it went. I cut it back down to about here. That's pretty cool. There's the container the rose is coming out of. That's our garlic, which didn't make it too well through the drought we had earlier this spring. I didn't know we were supposed to have a drought. These will be our wildflowers, the potting soil we made ourselves. This is our foxglove. Grew it from seeds, so we're proud of that. Isn't that beautiful? And behind it is fennel from last year that was in the shade too much, so it didn't get very thick. We're hoping it'll get thick out here, out in the sun. Behind that container, underneath the fennel, that container will be sunflowers and nasturtium. Sorry, can't pronounce words I don't hear too often, but this will be flowers. And in the back is something that will be a purple mum that doesn't come out until sometime in the fall. But behind it is the Russian sage. From Russian sage I showed you earlier. She had babies a couple years ago. These are our from seed grown tomatoes. This is a patio, 2 patios, 2 grapes, 2 more patios, 1 extra that we didn't think was going to live, so I put it in a pot. It's living. I don't know if it's a patio or a grape. And these will be our carrots. Give you an overall. I should have put this. That's the one and only lettuce that grew out of everything that we plotted this year. Because silly me, I forgot to drill holes in the bottom of the container. That's our prickly pear. Oh, forgot to add. The lettuce is in our butterfly drinking hole, which is more of a fly's drinking hole, but let's not be picky. Give you an this is our dill. Okay, we bought that dill. We had seeds, but we didn't know it at the time. That's Fuzzy Wuzzy, who is not fuzzy right now. His plants died from him last year. So, gotta try again. Discovered you can't grow plants in something that's made out of peat moss, because peat moss doesn't have enough nutrition in it. Behind him is either weeds. We're still hoping that's wild strawberries that just happen to plant. And I don't know what that green thing is, green bushy thing is, but it is pretty. Here we have, that's a hummingbird vine in among a rose. The rose also suffered badly from that drought. Forgive me, I didn't know everything was growing back then. It was March, and I don't come back out here too much in March. Here are some things that we're going to be putting in flat pots. Most of them are different kinds of flowers to go in hanging baskets or with the sweet potato vine. And that's the ivy that Fuzzy Wuzzy will have soon. That's Fuzzy Wuzzy the bear. Better angle. Here is our other hide and seek bear. He's a peeker. So I decided to let him look at our table. Yeah, that's our table. I'll show you that in a minute. And Mama Bear with a baby bear is underneath the heads of the chick. That's our Monarda, otherwise known as bee balm, growing in underneath Fuzzy Wuzzy and the hummingbird vine and all the rest. This is the first plant we ever grew in the garden. Still don't know what it is, but it's still growing 10 years later, and I like it. If you know, let me know. Love to know what it really is. That's our Lily of the Valley. Pleased with that. Made a big mistake in ordering. Only ordered one, thought I was ordering 6. This is a few years later, and we have 4 out of the 6. I mean, 4 plants where we started with just 1. This is our butterfly bush. Hasn't started making flowers yet, but it's early in the season. The first bee of the season, at least the first documented bee, and showing off his stuff. This is our polka dot plant. It was a tiny little thing when we first got it, so we're quite proud. This is my jade, which has, as you can tell, needs some work. This is going to be my bonsai jade. And this is, believe it or not, a polka dot bush that I was going to give as a housewarming gift to Becky. But it keeps dying on me, but as long as the leaves are, the stems are fuzzy, he will grow back. Right now, we're calling him the pipe cleaner branch for obvious reasons. This is a teacup. We haven't decided what to grow in. Possibly those flowers showed earlier. Cellulose. Well, these are plants that I can't pronounce either, but they grow underneath, they like shade, and I cut some off of last year's and kept them downstairs along with the sweet potato vine, and they survived. They look a little wilted, but it's the beginning of the year and they'll get bigger as we go along. Here we have chamomile. Only type of tea I like is chamomile. In between is a type of a wort, but I don't know the name of it. That's the plants I was talking about earlier. That you just sort of plop them somewhere and they'll grow, but they grow like weeds, they grow anywhere. Here's another one. These are my English lamb's ear. These volunteered into this bush. but I'm going to let them grow there. This is the passion flower, also up into the basement for this winter. So looks a little dried from last year, but as you can tell from what's growing up on the fence, he is growing. Looks like my lucky bamboo needs a little watering there, but that's just one bamboo shoot left, and it's coming out in 2 different places. This is more English lamb's ear with a big weed, and not anymore. But this is one lamb's ear from a couple years ago, and as you can tell, that's growing too, along with a dill. As I said, the warts things are like weeds that grow anywhere. Here's one growing in through the cracks. Here's my rosemary. This rosemary's lived for quite a while here, which I'm pleased with because it's a little iffy whether rosemary can stay in this zone. And this is the sage, which is now purpley nailed. This is Greek oregano. I think this is thyme or marjoram. John knows this thing better than I do. It's flowering a little bit right now. This is our tarragon. Definitely have enough tarragon to last. A couple more aloes. And this is a Jersey Shore gnome. Bought this down in Cape May 1 year. Garlic chives. Parsley. Donkey tail got ratty during this winter, but we'll be alright this summer. It will grow big back and grow big. It's done that before. This is our second oldest plant. This is our original chives. And that's at 4 o'clock. It sort of wanders in there and grows every year. We don't, it's too pretty to ignore, so we let it stay there. This is the compost we make. Just thought I'd let you know. And our side alley where the water comes from. Gives you a better idea of what you just saw.